Is affordability keeping you from home ownership in Southwest Florida?
Well, if so, let's talk about FHA and seller concessions and how to use them to make home buying more affordable.
You got to tune into this episode because my mind is blown.
Really, Mary?
Welcome back to Really Mary. Super excited to have my dear friend Cheryl Stokes from New American Funding on today, talking about a near and dear topic, Cheryl, and that's affordability.
It is affordability because at the crux of it all, you and your business and I and my business can't move forward if people cannot afford homes. So
Right.
how can we help people find affordability?
And, we've seen a lot of increases in homes, and we're pretty steady as we did in our last market update. And that's what they're expecting. But, I've been seeing on the news, Cheryl, that they're saying that first-time home buyers, people that are trying to trade up, are getting boxed out of the market because of the price.
They are. So how can we make that home more affordable? Or if we can get them to that purchase price, how can we help them get over the payment shock of going from being a renter to a homeowner? Because sometimes that's a big leap in payment.
It is. Well, there's three ways that we've talked about, first of many, but let's kind of get into it and talk about those three ways.
Okay.
So the first one I have, which is kind of interesting, is FHA loan limits.
Yes. So FHA is a loan product that a lot of people sometimes are afraid of. And I'll just say it, a lot of realtors are afraid of FHA loans because in the old days they might have been problematic loans, but that's not the case. And FHA loans allow a lot of flexibility for a first-time home buyer. Number one, their debt to income can be higher.
Okay.
Number two, the interest rate can be lower.
You've got my attention.
Number three, the mortgage insurance most often is lower than a first-time buyer on a conventional loan. So now they've saved on interest, they can have higher debt, and they can have lower mortgage insurance.
That's wonderful because if you're looking at that first house, and the national news recently, I don't know if you saw it, was talking about how these, young adults can't afford that, and or because they have too much debt or whatever, and this is an option. So what does that look like in our area?
So in our area, let's just take two examples, and it's a striking difference. So I brought notes today so that I have
love
it all
notes.
for you. I have to have my notes because there are so many details. But so in Collier County, the loan limit for FHA is $764,750. Now, it used to be in the 300s. So number one, you can now get an FHA loan in the 700s.
Wow.
Have higher debt, have possibly a lower credit score, but another advantage, higher seller concessions, up to 6%.
Wow.
To help you with closing costs. So
Wow.
that's Collier County. Now in Lee County, and it's all based on the median home price and income limits, right?
Sure.
So in Lee County, it's $541,287. But for a starter home, you're still over $500,000.
Which is fantastic because we can find a lot of homes between those prices.
Yes.
Right? For somebody that I think would be really great. I mean, maybe you're not downtown on the water, but you can be, a little further east and north.
And again, if we're talking about first-time home buyers, I said this in a video the other day, home buying is a journey. You are going to start with a home that is not going to be the home that you retire in, generally. I mean, I know that it used to occur, but generally that's not the case anymore, right?
Right.
So if we can get you in with 3.5% down,
Right.
and we can get 6% back from the seller, that most likely will pay all of your closing costs and a portion of other things that might help you make that home more affordable, like buying down your interest rate.
Right.
So then there are many ways that we can make the loan more affordable with the interest rate buy downs. Not just, I'm going to buy it down from 6.5 to 6. Everyone knows you can do that.
Right.
You can buy it down. But there are temporary buy downs that are very popular when rates are high. It was all the rage 2 years ago when rates were in the 8s. get a 2-1 buy down, and get a temporary buy down. But those are available 100% of the time. So, for example, more notes.
Love this.
Let's say you got a $400,000 loan, FHA.
Okay.
And your rate based on credit, debt to income,
Yeah.
et cetera, was 6.75%.
Okay.
You can ask for 6% back.
Okay.
Okay? So 6% of $400,000 is $24,000.
It's a lot of money.
So if you go in with a full ask offer, now you don't want to try and haggle down on the price and ask for seller concessions.
Right.
But if you can get 6% back, $24,000, you can do a 2-1 temporary buy down.
Okay.
And what that means is although your rate is 6.75,
Yeah.
in the first year you pay at an effective rate of 4.75.
Wow. Yeah.
And then the second year, 5.75. So you temporarily buy it down, and by year 3, you're back at 6.75, but you could have refied by then.
Sure.
But what that means is even if you qualify at 6.75, paying at 4.75, and you've gone from being a renter to a homeowner, you've built a cushion in for yourself to adjust to being a homeowner with those expenses. You know, it just eases the payment shock. And it's paid for by the seller. Now, what would it cost to do that? Well, you would only spend $9,000 of the $24,000 to do the buy down. So now what do you have left? $15,000 for closing costs.
That's amazing.
Right.
That's amazing.
It's just, how can you use the tools we have at our
that were available to us,
yeah, that
right?
are available to us to make homes more affordable for first-time home buyers. And you can combine FHA, seller concessions, and really help first-time buyers get into homes.
So she really kind of nailed through all three of these at one time because she tied them all together. One was FHA loan limits.
Right.
The second one was seller concessions. What are they? How can I use them? Which was the third part of the example. You know, Cheryl, I know you've got some notes. Maybe we can make it like a customer-facing page that people could request for wink, wink, nod, nod on there so that they can see that. But I think the biggest thing that you're going to really want to do is, you know, talk to a professional, a mortgage lender. Cheryl is excellent, and really understand how this applies to you. I mean, having younger sons myself, some of them are home buyers. One of them is, you know, doing a lease to own, but is really trying to figure out what he needs and what that looks like. This is perfect for you. If you're still at home or you know, we have somebody that works for us and they live at home and they're coming together and they're looking in that $500,000 price point, this is exactly what we're talking about. And they're looking at new construction for that.
Right. And they don't know how to navigate that process. And this information is just as important for the buyers as it is for realtors, because if you often say to a realtor, I want a 6% concession, they're going to balk at it. The listing agent is, right?
Yeah, right.
But if it's a full ask offer, and it doesn't have to be 6%, it's going to be anywhere between 3 and 5. We all know that that's about the move rate on homes. But any portion of that can be used for these things. And if the agents understand how it works and we educate the buyers, more people are going to be able to buy. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want. Absolutely.
So if you're thinking about buying and or selling in Southwest Florida, we'd love to help you through that process. I'm Mary Bartis with the Bartos Group of Premier Plus.
Cheryl Stokes, New American Funding.
Can't wait to see you next time and here, buying your piece of paradise.